Hi, everyone. This is Lisa Haven, and I've got a very difficult and disturbing report to share with you today. So I just ask you to bear with me as I deliver it because it just really delves into some of the things I've been talking about over the years. But this specific report is going to reveal some information that you may not want to hear. I'll put that flat out. But what you're going to find in a moment is that Christian groups are being specifically listed and labeled on the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center's website, they have been for a while. They've come out with list of, quote, haters, and some pretty famous Christian organizations and some pretty famous Christian people are listed on there as extremists. And this organization has just started not linking up, but having discussions together with people in our Department of Justice, with people in the DOJ, which I'm going to show you as well, which is just a scary thought. Now, we know in biblical times that in the end times, Christians will be persecuted. That's something we are aware of. But when it gets more in your face, the more scary it becomes. But it's not just Christians. It's Christians, patriots, gun owners, conservatives that are being targeted by the elitist. Anyone that's in opposition to some of the things that they want to usher in are being labeled as haters or bigots and put on these lists, which I'm going to show you. And, I've revealed a few things in the past videos. Speaking of everybody that's been targeted, media has been targeted, people in the military have been targeted just for leaking things they didn't want leaked or for sharing things they didn't want publicized. Well, now they're looking even to tweak the Patriot Act to prosecute anti-government extremists. So simply, if you have the belief, say you're anti-government. I'm not anti-government, okay? I'm not an anarchist. I believe we need some form of government. I believe we need a federal government. I believe we need a state and a local government. All that stuff is necessary. What I don't believe in is having a big government or corrupt government. I am not for that. I'm not for the corruption in government. I'm not for a big government. The other thing that I'm going to show you in this report is how you can even have no violent history, not incite violence of any sort, and yet here you are as a potential terrorist to your country just because you hold a particular belief in this way or that. Against abortion, that's a group. Against homosexuality, that's a group. Whether or not you would ever incite hate against someone, and just being a Christian, you're going to see in some of these lists here. But it's hard for me to get out to you because I see the attack more and more on a daily basis. Now, I want to preface this by saying, I've said this before, I'm not violent. I don't encourage violence. And anybody who is doing violence, that's their own deed. And what they're trying to do here through these documents you're about to see, and please hang on because you need to see them and look at the links below. But they're saying, people who talk the talk make other people do it. And so therefore it's the person talking the talk, and it's just ridiculous. And it shouldn't be about that. Any person who commits a violent crime is on their own head, on nobody else's, but their head. You do something, you go steal from a bank, that's on your head. You go murder somebody, that's on your head. I believe in that wholeheartedly. We all have choices to make. But just because we we don't believe in big government, we shouldn't be put as a terrorist or because of our Christian views. I think the best thing to do is to delve into this. So let's just get right in. So here is the first report I want to show you. It's on Infowars.com, put out today, February 21st by Kurt Nimmo. Please come and read this in its entirety. I'm not going to read it in its entirety, but backing Infowars or any similar sites to Infowars, there are many out there, may soon be considered, quote, material support, where you're supporting financially or you're supporting and, by spreading the material, by passing out pamphlets. All of that is considered material support of terrorism. Department of Justice looks to tweak the Patriot Act and prosecute anti-government extremists. Just prosecute. You're against the government. Let's prosecute you. Now, here is the original report, and I'm going to leave a link to all of these. Please know that. But this is on CNS News. here, and it's DOJ officially praises the Southern Poverty Law Center's work in combating domestic terrorism. Now, this was put out back in October, but it's very important because with consideration to everything I'm about to show you and with the announcement of this report in InfoWars. But John Carlin, the Assistant Attorney General for National Security, announced, this was last year, that they're going to create a position of domestic terrorism to fight the threat of terrorism, okay? And they're doing that. That is being created. And here they're putting people and they are looking to tweak the Patriot Act. You can come here and read more on that. But this also sheds a little more light. But Carlin praised groups, okay? John Carlin, the Assistant Attorney General for National Security. But he praised the Southern Poverty Law Center. Okay? Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center says it places groups, this is keyword here, including conservative Christian groups on its hate list based on their beliefs, not their cause, their push, for violence. So they put them on a list simply because they believe one way or another. And the last thing that I want to see here is homegrown violent extremism can be motivated by any viewpoint on the full spectrum of hate. If you're against the government, you're racist, you're a bigot, you're an anarchy, or any other despicable beliefs. Now, in that discussion, it was co-hosted by SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, and Carlin, and that was at the George Washington University. And let's delve into this a little more. Let me take you first, before I show you more on the Southern Poverty Law Center, let's get into two documents. The first one here, and I'm going to keep that highlighted, but is a call to courage. This was put out by the wonderful group at the ACLU, who will stand on, they parade themselves in protecting the rights of minority groups, so to speak, except for when it comes to Christianity. They have nothing to say about that. They will take down a cross in a heartbeat. It's ridiculous. The group is corrupt, in my opinion. Well, on this report that they put out, it says, and I believe this was about 4 years ago, it was put out in 2011, federal material support. Material support, once again, is if you're funding, giving money to, passing out information or pamphlets, talking to people about groups such as InfoWars or WorldNet Daily or any of those. And conspiracy statutes allow the government to secure convictions, convict somebody without having to show any specific act of terrorism has taken place. That is your Patriot Act. They can arrest you without rhyme or reason. Or if you have planned anything or not, doesn't matter. Or that you intend to plan anything in the future, or even that a defendant intended to future terrorism. Meaning you don't have to have any rhyme or reason. You don't have to be a violent person. You don't have to be planning anything. You don't even have to have had a violent past. They can put you away, secure your conviction simply for material support, passing out information, so to speak. Well, that was from ACLU website. Well, let's go back and remember this lovely document, which I've referenced plenty of times. Right-wing extremism document put out by Mrs. Napolitano a few years ago, and very prominent. Now, one thing I want to show you here, and I think this is important in light of what we're talking about. On this document, they attack, end time belief. They attack if you believe in the New World Order. They attack if you believe the economy is going to collapse. All these are views on here that they pronounce and parade as extremist views capable of you causing terrorists to act because you believe that the economy is going to fail. Now, I can get into that again, but what I want to show you at this time, because I have touched on that a lot, but right-wing extremists in the United States can be broadly divided into these groups, into movements and to adherents that are primarily hate-oriented, based on hatred of a particular religion, race, or ethnic group, and those that are mainly anti-government, rejecting federal authority in favor of state or local government, or rejecting government authority in its entirety. It may include groups and individuals that are dedicated to a single issue, such as if you're opposed to abortion or if you're against immigration, which is against the law. You cannot legally immigrate into this country. Well, now you can because they're pushing all kinds of crap doors that they're opening up. But if you're against immigration or abortion, well, then you can be put on this list. Wait a minute. But they also say anti-government. Look, I'm not anti-government. I believe abortion is wrong, but I don't force anybody to do one way or another. I believe homosexuality is wrong, but I don't force people to do it one way or another. I believe that we shouldn't have tens of thousands of immigrants migrating into this country illegally without being screened. They're not getting screened for diseases. They're not getting screened. They're just getting sent everywhere. They're not getting screened if they're going to contribute to society here in America or if they're going to bring it down. They're not being screened for things like socialism and communism that can come in and destroy the country. I have a son myself who immigrated here. My son is an immigrant, for crying out loud. And to say I'm against that is just wrong. But I am against the mass influx of all that is coming in illegally. There is a right way and a wrong way to do things. And I stand on that. And because of some of those beliefs, we can be suspected as a movement that can be considered a right-wing extremist. A lot to take in, a lot to take in. But this, I don't want to re-go over this. So, but like I said, there's a bunch of information in here. If you believe in end-time Bible prophecy, if you are, believe in FEMA camps or a failed economy, as you're seeing right here, end-time prophecy, if you stockpile food or ammo, then all those can land you in, to be an extremist. All right, moving on. Southern Poverty Law Center. The SPLC is an American nonprofit legal advocacy organization specializing in civil rights and public interest litigation. It is noted for its legal victories against white supremacist group, its legal representation for victims of hate groups, its classification of the militia and other extremist organizations, and its educational programs that promote tolerance. The SPLC also classifies and lists hate groups, organizations that are, in its opinion, attack or malign an entire class of people. Typically, for their immutability characteristics, the SPLC's hate group list has been a source of controversy. So you can read up more, but this is who they are. This is the same ones that worked with the DOJ, who praised their work. They praised their work in combating domestic terrorism. You shouldn't be praising this group. Well, let's go, and I want to go first to their homepage. Let me start there. Here's their homepage, and guess who they have on the front cover? Hate and Extreme, the Year in Hate. Donald Trump, who does not hate immigration, and yet they parade him on this website as if he does. This tells me more and more that he's not an establishment. I'm praying he's not. I don't believe he's establishment, but when he's being attacked as an organization such as the SPLC, that's something to, I guess you can definitely tell where their truth lies. But even a presidential candidate has made their front page here. This is the kind of people that the DOJ has praised. Very, very sad. Well, let's see. They first have, let's go back one. Let's start here. They have extremist groups and ideology. Let's go first to ideologies. What ideologies do they find as extreme? Well, anti-Muslim. If you are anti-Muslim, then you can be found as a person of hate. Anti-government movement. If you're against, the government in any way or against their policies, this is an anti-government movement. Not everybody's going to be on the same page, especially in a nation like America where there is a broad range of views on what people believe and don't believe. But if you're anti-government, they can categorize you in a category of hate. And this is also with Christian identity. Now that is that's not Christianity. That is a violent extremist group. And they are a radical group. General hate, racist skinhead, white national, anti-immigrant. If you are against immigration, you are part of the hate group and inciting hate and couldn't be an extremist. Simply because you're anti-immigrant, anti-gay, lesbian, transvestite, then you are once again. And opposition for equal rights for LGBT people has been a central theme of Christian right organization and fundraising for the past 3 decades. You're going to find out some crazy Christian organizations. They're not crazy, but Christian organizations that are listed in their extremist groups in a moment, and I'm guaranteeing you might actually help fund some of these. Holocaust denial, black separatist, KKK, neo-Confederate, neo-Nazi. You can see racist music. I thought, wow. Radical traditional Catholicism and the sovereign citizen movement. That is a movement which basically they don't believe there should be any government, or they're anti-government. So those are who they have listed. Well, let's find out some of the groups with these types of extreme ideologies. Act for America, that's their newest one. Why? Well, they made the list because they are anti-government, because they don't believe we should have people like ISIS in our country. America's Promise Ministries is both a Christian identity church, that's, right-wing extremist, American Border Patrol, okay. Oh, check it out. America Family Association. Wow. Initially founded as the National Federation for the American Family Association, originally focused on what is considered indecent televised programming and pornography. The AFA says it promotes traditional morals in media. Traditional morals. So the America Family Association. The American Freedom Party, or formerly known as American Third Position, a party intentionally established by racist Southern California skinheads. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they're all mixed together. American Renaissance, Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, Aryan Nationals, Barnes Review, Blood and Honor, California Coalition for Immigration Reform, Center for Security Policy, the KKK, Council of Conservative Christians, the Creativity Movement, and some of these are, quote, extremist groups, obviously, but some of them shouldn't even be listed in here, like this one, Family Research Council. The Family Research Council bills itself as the leading voice for the family in our nation's halls of power, but its real specialty is defaming gays and lesbians. So because they take a stance, against homosexuality, look, they take a stance against cheating on your spouses, typical things that we're going to see, but they've made the hate list simply because of their belief on homosexuality. There doesn't have to be any race involved, but there you can see that. Federation for American Immigration Reform. What's their mission? To severely limit immigration into the United States. What? Because they want to limit how many not cut off. They've also made the list. Church of Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ. Imperial Clans of America, Institute for Historical Jewish Defense League, Keystone United, Keystone Identity Ministries, again, Ku Klux Klan, League of the South, Liberty Council. The Liberty Council was founded by conservative activist, an attorney and former dean at Liberty University School of Law. It's a nonprofit litigation, education, and policy organization that provides legal counsel and pro bono hopefully you are you know some of these organizations, and you may even be contributing material. What are they listed at? Material support of these, which means you can be targeted. Nation of Islam. Well, that's we know who that is. National Alliance, National Socialist Movement. I'm even surprised that one made it, because we are being pushed more in the socialist direction. Pioneer Fund, the Social Contract Press, Stormfront Traditional Values Coalition, TVC, VDARE, Social Club, Westboro Baptist Church. Now they're a riot. They're a little too much for me, and they do go overboard. White Revolution. Oh, wait a minute. WorldNet Daily made it. WorldNet Daily. Because of what they promote on their website: freedom, truth, justice, and Christian views. So WorldNet Daily has made the list. Well, let's go over to extremists. Wait till you see that list of who they find extreme. Number 1, Alex Jones. He's number 1 because of his 9/11 belief, his conspiracy theory. And here we are. Donald Trump is talking about revealing the real information of what happened at 9/11 when he gets into office. But wait, they're on the list because they believe that. Well, Alex Jones, Alex Linder, Anthony Pierpoint, April Grade, and I might be butchering some of this name because I don't know all of them. Barry Black, but I want you to notice they're putting Christian people and patriot people in here with Nazis and KKK people, and like they have similar, kinds of things, and it's just not so. Here's another name you probably know: Chuck Baldwin, a 35-year-old Florida Guns and God pastor and leader in the anti-government patriot movement. He's not an anti-government, but whatever. Moved his apocalyptic mission to Montana, forming a new church. Center and white supremacy extremists. Wow. Moving on, Cliff Kincaid, Craig Cobb. If you come and read some of these and why they're on there, I think you're going to find it interesting. But here is Dan Steins, heads of the Federation for American Immigration Reform. He's on there. Here's another name, David Barton. He's basically a historian, and he talks about, I've seen all his video series about how this country was a Christian nation and founded on Christian principles, simply for his stance on saying that we were a Christian nation. He's made the list. Interesting. Many of you probably know David Barton, or many Christians out there as well. Don Black, Edgar Steele, Eric the Butcher Fairburn, Ernest Zundel, and I don't know all these people, okay, but some of them we do know, obviously. Gary DeMar, Glenn Spencer, Gordon Baum, Hal Turner, Harry Cooper, Henry Harpending, J.T. Reddy, James Edwards, and more and more. And I'm just going to kind of scroll through this so you can see the names that are on it. And here, the WorldNet Daily, Joseph Farah has made the list as well. John Weaver, Kevin Deanne, Kevin Lamb, Kevin McDonald. Council of Conservative Christians, Kyle Rogers. Internet savvy talents to attract web hits. Larry Pratt, Lieutenant General William G. Jerry. Louis Engel, because of his stance against homosexuality. Louis Farrakhan, Louis Beam, we know him. Mark Weber. Matt Hell. Michael Bolden. Michael Brian Vonderbaugh. Michael Hill. Pamela Geller, anti-Muslim movement, because of her views on that. And really, I do encourage you guys to come over here and read some of this so you can see the kind of people that have made this list as well. Almost to the bottom here, but I think you're kind of getting the picture. There's Christians on here, and Tom DeWeese has built a career on conspiratorial warnings about Agenda 21 and the United Nations. So if you believe there is an Agenda 21, I've got the document right here funny. You can be listed just for belief in that, I guess. Tom Metzinger, Tony Perkins, here we go, heads the Family Research Council. Wow, Tony Perkins. I get stuff in the mail from him and from that organization. Well, I guess I am conspiring with material support on that. So I know that's kind of the end of the list, but I think you get the picture. Last thing that I want to show you is their hate website, their hate list. And on this, they do include the Family Research Council and the American Family Association as extremist groups. You can go to your state and find out, oh, look, these are extremist groups. Oh, because there's a Border Patrol against immigration. But all kinds of names are on here. But this is who everybody from real extremist groups to not so real extreme friendship, not so extremist groups. But there you have it. Make sure you come and check this out as well. Anyhow, I wanted to bring you the latest on that and just kind of let you sit that over. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in my opinion, is drawing a very creepy line between real extremist group and not real extremist groups. How you can even be on that list, on their list, for doing something, for just having a belief, versus even being incited to commit crimes. And then we have the right-wing extremist document and the other document from the ACLU saying how you can be put on a list or even round up without even having caused a crime or thought about a crime or planned a crime. That's interesting. Now, they're not obviously mass rounding up people right now. They're definitely not. There has been certain targeted people and certain targeted individuals, but hopefully, we don't see that anytime soon. And I'm not saying that will or won't happen because we just don't know until that plays out. I can look at history and see what happened in other countries. But anyway, I just wanted to bring you the latest on this and let you decide. Don't forget to check out my sponsors. If you're not prepared with food, get prepared with food at foodforliberty.com/haven. Especially in this time. Also, getthetea.com. I use a lot of their products, and it really has been helping my digestive system. And thankfully, I was able to find Life Change Tea at getthetea.com, and it's really done wonders for me. Anyhow, make sure you check them out, and thanks again for tuning in.